Hello everyone, this is KIDM the Man bringing you all another figure review of the Hasbro's Power Rangers Dino Fury Wave 3 basic figures. The reason why I said early is because these figures have not been seen anywhere else on YouTube yet, to my knowledge at least. So I hope that I do these figures justice in this review. Now without further ado, let's get started. How I stumbled onto these figures is that one day I saw a post on Facebook that someone was looking for this wave. I actually forgot that these were gonna be released, so I checked my local online shopping app and lo and behold, I found them. So after I made the script writing, recording and editing, this was the outcome. Right off the bat, the painting and the sculpting of these figures are more phenomenal, especially the Dino Knight Red Ranger, or for you Sentai fans, Real Soul Max. Now I'm sure a lot of you who collects these basic figures or are big fans of the Sentai and Ranger series were really looking forward to this figure. I know I was when it was announced. Now that I have it in hand, the wait was indeed worth it. The sculpting of the helmet is pretty good. It's molded in a red plastic with 4 sets of paint on it. Although the gold used on the figure is not your shiny gold, but at least it's not the butterscotch gold we all dread. The smaller areas of the helmet is painted decently too, with the silver on the mouthplate, black on the visor, and the emerald green for the dino eyes and the forehead diamond. Since the armor is based on Void Knight's design, that's where the forehead diamond is from. It wasn't from the Dragon Ranger, by the way. As for the feathers of the helmet, the molding is consistent as it flows to the back of the helmet. For the torso, it has a nice sculpt all throughout, and since the design of the lightning is of a larger size, Hasbro has an easier time to paint the outline of it in gold. Plus, the silver on it complements the gold too. The arm of the figure is made of a new mold as well. At first, I thought it was a reuse of Void Knight's arm, but it isn't the case. The shoulder pad has a lack of paint, and it's attached to the torso. Because of that, it hinders the articulation. I took the liberty to fill in the missing paint after recording this video, so stay tuned at the end. But I did forget to paint the back of the hand red though. The left arm does have the Dino Fury Morpher, which is accurate since the transformation device is an add-on and a weapon that came with the figure. The belt is the same as the male belt of the other figures. However, the legs of the figure is the exact same mold as Void Knight's figure. As you can see, despite the difference in color and the tiny optical illusion with the red and gold paint, they are exactly the same. Since it's the same, feel free to paint the missing black paint at the back of the knees. The back is unpainted, but the details is still visible. Since Void Knight is here, you can see what this armor is inspired from. Plus, the butt and hips have their sculpts too. He comes with the Dino Claw Morpher and a Dino Fury key. The Dino Knight Morpher is nicely detailed, just like every other Hasbro accessory. You can see the design of the molding despite it being lighter than usual. It has the same emerald green paint and the standard gold paint. With the minimal molding on it, even if you can barely see the patterns, you still can panel line it. One thing I noticed is that Hasbro has changed the handle design of the accessory. I have seen older Bandai Ranger accessories and those had the N-shaped handles. Maybe Hasbro took into account the difference in the quality of the hands as it is a much harder plastic, but that's my guess. As for the Dino Fury key, is the exact same key as the one we got with the single release Red Ranger and the Amazon 5-pack. Comparing them side by side, the new key is a darker shade of red. It does lack some silver paint, but at least the Megazord facial features are there. For the stickers, it's the exact same sticker that we got from before. Now I don't have the morpher, but I can show you the patterns of the key that will activate the unique sounds. So as for this key in particular, it's the exact same pattern as the one we got previously. Now for the Hengeman, we finally got the foot soldier minions of the season in figure form. I like how they name it Hengeman, seeing as their base is surrounded by dino statues. It's a nice play on words and it shows off the show's creativity. The helmet of the figure is nicely sculpted with the patterns on it. Makes you wonder how the suit actors see through them. There will be some discrepancies however, as the lines are not fully painted. Just by using a panel line pen or a fine tip marker, you can fix that easily. The entirety of the head is molded in grey plastic and the back of it is painted in black. The helmet does look like an old army helmet you see from the era of Pocahontas. If you don't know what Pocahontas is, you're way too young for this video. The gold trim in the middle does look like a feather though, if we're sticking to that theory. Lastly, the checkered on the helmet is decently printed on. As for the chest of the figure, it looks pretty simple. I guess the budget went into the details of the other figures in the wave. But hey, as long as the details are molded on, that's good enough for me. You also get the holographic sticker with the villain's logo in the middle of the torso. The arm of the figure is just molded in a black plastic, but I do appreciate the sleeve or fluff it's included. The shoulder armor is just a concave disc with a bright white paint in the center and a thin gold outline. The checkered pattern is kinda mid. The belt is designed in the same shape of the villains in the series. The legs finally have more articulation than the Beast Morpher villains. The boots has a nice glossy brown paint. Lastly, the back has a pretty dull design. There's a hole for the shield storage, but we'll get to that later, and you may find some discrepancies with the belt harness on the back. It's got the staff, a riot shield, and his unique key. Since it's a minion, the weapons are sculpted nicely, but there are no paint applied. But seriously, feel free to paint them to make it look nice. It's pretty much a standard for basic figures since they are made for kids. The shield has a peg at the end of the handle, so that can be attached to the back of the figure. It may take some elbow grease, so do it carefully until it manages to go in. If all else fails, apply some lube. As for the key accessory, it's a new mold. Similarly to the Ryu Soldier counterpart, that is what this key is based on. It has the Hengeman head that has minimal paint apps, but the skeleton design of the key is nicely painted. For the sticker design, it is an image of the Sentai key design as a 2D render. If you're wondering about the sounds, I don't have them, but the key does have 3 raised nubs on it. Comparing it to the Boom Tower key, since the nubs are different, it's a guarantee that it's not going to be the same. However, if you compare it with the Void Knight's key, it's safe to assume that they would make the same sound. I did notice the insignia on the keys are of the Dino Fury logo, whereas Boom Tower's keys has a monster logo. I think since they practically use the same base of Void Knight's key with the 3 nubs, there's probably no hidden meaning to this, unless you connect it to the first episode of Dino Fury. Another fantastic character to get a figure form would be Izzy. In fact, this is our second figure of Izzy, where the first one was from the Amazon 5-pack. Since it's my first time having 75% of the exact same figure, I must say it looks pretty amazing. Fair warning, the green here you see might be a different shade when you have the figure on hand, as it is a brighter green in real life. The helmet on Izzy is simply amazing in its design, and I do believe it is our second saber-toothed tiger inspired helmet too. You can see how the larger tiger fangs are integrated in the visor on the far edges of it, while the smaller teeth are right in the middle. The eyes on the helmet are molded on, making the paint printing easier and more accurate. The cherry on top would be the cute tiny cat ears on the helmet. Just like its predecessors, there is a lack of white paint on the neck of the figure and the outline of the lightning too. However, that's an easy fix by using a white Gundam marker. Just be sure to soak the helmet in hot water first to allow an easy beheading. As for the torso, the shiny paint is still being used, which is great. Similarly to the older figures, the arm is made of a solid grey plastic. The main feature here would be the Dino sleeve, which consists of 25% of the figure. The soul bee here is nicely sculpted in a dull yellow gold plastic. My guess is it's easier since the forearm attachment primary color is gold. However, the details of the arm are still molded on. More options to customize. But take note though, as the arms are not interchangeable. The shoulder armor is a new mold. It's nicely sculpted and painted in silver. You may think it's detachable, but after taking a closer look, you might have a tough time as it might be glued on. Since it's painted in silver, it's important to take note that it can also be molded in various colors of plastic depending on the arm plastic color. A new unique sticker is used to show what equipment key is used. What's important to know is that the Sentai counterpart was often seen using the speed key, and the Yudo candy toy version also has that equipped. Since this is a speed key, the design of the Dino sleeve looks like a running shoe. You'll notice the shoelace pattern and the studs of the Dino teeth. That's pretty amazing. Oh, and the eyes are painted in blue. The belt of the figure is the same as the Pink Ranger's belt, but there is no skirt this time, since it's not her thing. The bottom half of the figure is pretty standard, but do expect paint discrepancies though. A quick comparison with Dino Fury Red, since I painted the white paint on the necessary areas, you can see why I said it's doable. She comes with the Chroma Fury Saber and her Dino Fury key. This is indeed my first time having the Chroma Fury Saber, and I gotta say, I expected nothing less from Hasbro. It's very well sculpted and painted, and the lack of more paint is pretty standard. As for the key, since it's my first time, I'll be gentle with it. But comparing this to the images online, it does lack some silver paint on the Megazord helmet and the tiger's teeth. The tiger's eyes are missing some paint too, but at least they are minimal paint apps to bring out the Zord's features. For the sticker, it's the same as the one you got from the Hasbro 5-pack. If the nubs you see here are the same as that version, then it's pretty safe to say that it'll make the same sounds. As for the Black Ranger, he's here to accompany his sister to give her some support. Now I know that there are concerns that we might not get a single release of the base forms of green and black, which is why we got them in this wave. But seeing as the Amazon 5-pack is still considered new, I don't think that would happen anytime soon. Nevertheless, I have my hopes that we'll see them sometime this year. The helmet of the figure is pretty amazing as it is based on a Stegosaurus, making me wish we get a Coda Lightning collection soon. The silver on the helmet is nice, but since it has a tiny horn in the middle, that might make some paint to chip off. The yellow on the eyes of the helmet are not molded, but the area where it's painted does have a slight dent in it to provide room for the yellow paint to be included. Just like Coda's design, I really appreciate the tiny spikes on the top of the helmet. As for the torso, it's pretty consistent with the other male Rangers, but what I have noticed is that the helmet is either a bit too large or it's sitting a little too deep on the peg, making it difficult to see the collar or the neck of the suit. Because of this, you probably won't need to paint the neck, seeing as you won't be able to notice it. Same shiny silver used for the torso and the grey plastic left arm. As for the dino sleeve, it's a new mold, so the same can be said here from Izzy's figure. We got a new sticker to reflect the sleeve, and if you look closely inside, you can see that the shoulder piece is glued on or even welded onto the arm of the figure. Since the Japanese counterpart and the Yudo candy toy figure use this Sobi, it would make sense for us to have it too. The Paki shield is nicely molded in a blue plastic, which is why the entire arm is blue too. We got a nice gold paint for the surrounding of the shield and a glossy blue for the hard head of the dino. There's a random black plastic joint though. As for the bottom half of the figure, it's pretty standard. I could nitpick on the minor flaws, but overall this figure is pretty good. He's got the same Chroma Fury Saber and his Dino Fury key, which is nicely detailed with minimal paint apps, and it's missing a few silver paint on the dinosaur's head. The same sticker used as the Amazon 5-pack, and here are the nubs, which would probably make the same sounds. So here's the set next to the Dino Fury Gold Ranger, previously reviewed Psycho Silver, the Figurized Standard 5s XL, a Legacy Collection Movie Ranger, and a upcoming figure review. Now as I said earlier, some people are worried that we might not get a single release of green and black, which is why we got these two now. But I am pretty hopeful. If Beast Morphers was any indication, Hasbro will try their best to release all the major characters in figure form. What I foresee is that for the next wave, we'll get one villain figure and 3 heroes. That's where we'll see a green or black ranger single release with a unique weapon. As for the remaining 3 rangers, they will come with their very own dino sleeves too, with a Chroma Fury Saber. If their inspiration is from the Yudo Candy Toy series, I'm sure you know which sleeve to expect. If that's the case, I can't wait to swap out the unique weapons to give these sleeved rangers to make them pop out even more. So let's hope and pray to our overlords that they make it happen. But in the meantime, there's no space on my shelf. So if you like this video, blast that like button, leave a comment down below, let me know if you think my predictions are correct, write down your predictions too, share this with your friends and family to get them hyped up for this wave of Dino Fury figures, and consider subscribing for more reviews like this. Thank you again for your patience waiting for this video, and like these figures, I hope the wait was worth it. This is KID the Man, and I'll see you all next time.